Apologize. We lost Frank Lyons' audio there. We'll try and get him back if we can. And he was talking about Song River, the filly we're looking at now. And sometimes, just sort of by accident, you find out things like, wow, Song River is really capable on dirt. Now she's backed up 2 in a row on the main track, and she's going to stay here, it looks like.
Yeah, but she got loose in that last start, right? So yes, she ran well. She got a fast number, but she had everything her own way. She was 3 clear when they turned for home. She's going to have to look real horses in the eyes at the top of the stretch, and maybe she will continue to do so. I just question it.
I agree. I think her form is extremely phonied up in here. I like the 2. I'm betting on Miss Mosaic. I know you like the favorite. Jonathan, you may be right.
Twin Spires, bet back offer. Place a win bet on select races at Churchill Thursday through Sunday. You'll get your bet back up to $10. If your horse runs second or third, all you have to do is opt in. Bonus funds credited every Monday. Download the Twin Spires app or go to twinspires.com. It's deep waters for her, no question. We'll see even money on Miss T2 from the inside. Will she be ready to go off the bench? The resume imposing, but the layoff a question mark.
Yeah, it's always about playoffs. I bet against short prices at layoffs. Doesn't mean she can't win.
Set for the start of the late pick 5. Let's go to Travis Stone.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Awkward start for Habanero and Song River off near the back of the pack. Perfect Happiness is racing for the lead, and Miss T2 shows speed from her inside post as well, and these two hook up early. Miss T2 inside short lead, Perfect Happiness right alongside in second, Miss Mosaic chasing them from third. Song River's up to be fourth, only 3 lengths off the lead. Break Curfew is wide near the back with the trailing Habanero. Round the far turn, Miss T2 short lead, Perfect Happiness keeping the pressure on though. 3 furlongs to go, the quarter in just 22 and 3. 2 lengths back to Song River and Miss Mosaic. They're together third and fourth. Break Curfew is fifth as they come for the top of the stretch. Perfect Happiness on the outside of Miss T2, head to head off the turn. Song River set to strike, and here comes Song River now, and Miss Mosaic pops outside. Late in the scene is Break Curfew. There's 1 furlong to go. Song River comes away with the lead, opens up a length and a half. Miss Mosaic trying to run up on the outside with Break Curfew, 16th pole. Song River is still there. Miss Mosaic, Break Curfew chasing Song River home. Song River wins it by a length in the end. Miss Mosaic was second, Break Curfew was third, and Miss T2 fourth.
Song River for Cherie DeVoe. Found something on the main track here. Back-to-back wins now.
And I'll tell you, Jonathan, and I agreed with you. I thought this horse was coming off not 1, but 2 very, very good trips. Not today. This horse blew the brake, rushed up, and galloped.
Yeah, it worked out good. I mean, they ran in front of her a little bit, but still, you don't want to, in a 5.5 race, you do not want to miss the break, especially on the dirt.
No, I thought it was an excellent effort. I had a small saver exacta, but my horse had no excuse, Miss Mosaic. She got a perfect trip.
Primarily, as Frank had mentioned, have been a turf horse, dirt. I would think from here on out for Song River. She's won back-to-back starts. That was impressive. It was a good field she beat there. Nightcap coming up at Aqueduct. 6.5 furlongs. New York bred 40 maiden claiming race on this sloppy sealed track. And here's Unbridled's Reign, Mohaymen filly debuting.
Right now she's taking a little money in here, but there is no form on the horses that have run, so you have to imagine the firster will get bet a little bit.
2 starts against better, showed very little, so a needed drop for the 2.
Yeah, this horse hasn't really taken very much money and hasn't done any running. Beaten 43 lengths, beaten 34 lengths.
Hall of Famer Todd Pletcher with his first-time starter Tap the Heart.
Yeah, this is one of those horses where it could win by 7, but then could be third. There's not a whole lot to go off of. They are debuting for a tag, but you have all the right connections. Makes sense as a short price.
Some brief early speed in the debut for Lost Anchor, and now blinkers on.
She got left in her first race. Actually broke a length plus slow and rushed up in the pace at half birthday. The favor was in. She's my top choice.
Derek Ryan trains this daughter of the 2-year-old champ Classic Empire.
Yeah, only a 7% Derek Ryan trainer is with first-time starters in his career.
Brad Cox with the favorite, the 7 half birthday.
I guess she's the horse to beat based on the ones that ran. That shows you the overall quality of the ones who have raced.
Very distant third in a New York bred maiden 50 race at Belmont in the debut. Alicia's Way, 9-1, Chris Englehart.
Yeah, it's a horse that showed a little bit of tactical speed early in her last race, but stopped pretty badly. One I couldn't trust.
David Donk with Beautiful Banks here, Shackelford filly.
Yeah, it just has done absolutely no running. But frankly, she ran the same buyer in her second start that the favorite ran, for what it's worth.
We saw this barn win earlier on the card. Randy Prasad Keen Dancer does drop in class, was a big number in the debut.
It's pretty amazing that a pick 5 involving two $90 horses so far, and this horse is covered.
The power of the all button, I would imagine.
A lot of alls.
You know what? You know when you get a horse, sometimes like we had. I'm going blank on the horse's name. The Michelle Nevin horse that just galloped. The 2 to 5
Medium?
Happy Medium. When you have a horse like that, you'll sometimes get people that will cheekily do, single, all. That happens. It can happen.
Luch.
You can afford the ticket though, and then when you feel smart when you have these big bombs that come in. You feel,
Feeling smart would be the optimal
Yeah,
word. Feeling.
I would imagine
not smart.
that strategy, more often than not, gives you a poor result. But in a situation like this,
Because you're
I needed
given
to
the
work
takeout,
once.
you're giving yourself, you're losing all the advantages of playing multi-race bets and diffusing the takeout. When you do that, you get none of it and get all the worst of it.
Here's Todd Pletcher with Tap the Heart, first-time starters in maiden claiming dirt sprints over the last 5 years. That's a pretty solid win percentage, 44%.
No, that's in the money. They got that the wrong way around. The win percentage is 18. It's very hard to have a lower in the money percentage than the win percentage. I don't know if you can do it. It's kind of like the square root of -1. The interesting thing is Todd is 1 for 15 with New York bred first-time starters, maidens. Let me say something, Jonathan. If this horse could run, and it may not be able to run and still win, this horse would be even money in this race.
So, question: when it comes to stats, I try to ask myself, well, what does it mean? Do you think that there's signal with the New York bred situation versus an open company race, or are you just pointing it out? Do you think that there's a reason? What do you think the reason would be that
He's
Todd's
buying worse New York breds. That's the only reason I can think of. I think it's random. Because you look at his other stat at NYRA overall with first-time starters in maiden claiming races and dirt sprints, he's 6 for 27. So he's 5 for 12 with a solid ROI with non-New York breds. It feels kind of random to me. I just was more pointing it out as just food for thought.
Right.
The point is that Todd doesn't run that many maiden claiming first-time starters. He runs 10 a year. And he has mediocre results for them. It means he's running his bad horses in maiden claiming races. It's not that surprising.
Program brought to you, Saul, by Hillendale at Alapa, in part, as we get set for this final race of this Saturday card coming up here at Aqueduct. And 9-5 favoritism. It's a huge edge, even if your name is Todd Pletcher, to have the start under your belt. And Brad Cox has that with Hap Birthday at 9-5.
Yeah, I bet the 5 in here, Lost Anchor, who broke slowly first time out, rushed up in the pace before tiring, blinkers on second time out. If this horse can break more sharply, I think Lost Anchor has a chance to lead these on a merry chase.
It's first timer taking some money too, moving in for Dylan Davis. Mike Maselli's, Mohaymen filly from the rail.
This horse is taking as a homebred 6-1, sitting steady. I would argue, Jonathan, this horse is more alive than the Pletcher horse. Is that fair?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
the 4 rearing up.
Good luck.
That was just a mild.
Good luck if you're live in the pick 5. Nice little score for you today. Nice.
What's
nice
the
bet.
lowest payout? Did you see?
Well, I'm gonna go. No.
Somebody
I don't wanna say the wrong thing.
somebody texted me and said it's bad value with the 4.
I think it's short, but I don't have it
How
in
can
front of me. I don't
anything
want
be
to.
short with $200 horses? I know there was a heavy favorite in there, but still. That last winner, that horse could have been any price, the winner of that stake. Had a top, it was wide trip and was galloped, was much the best.
13,558 to the favorite.
So
That's a little light.
13,550 is 50.
There's Irad Ortiz Jr.
54,000.
Hopping aboard Tap the Heart, the first-time starter. Lost Anchor, 7-1, moving in. My favorite part of the show right here.
10,000. Where the winner of the other 10,000? Let's pick 5.
Is he gonna do it before the 11 gets in?
You know what? The parlay isn't that big because the other 2 winners were so short. It's only really like 10,000 for $2 right now.
With
to be
the
honest
nightcap
with you.
from Aqueduct.
And they're off. Half birthday away well. Endless Crusade now moves up to challenge. Endless Crusade takes the lead. Half Birthday is racing in second with Lost Anchor next in third, followed by Tap the Heart in fourth. And on the outside is Alicia's Way, who is racing in fifth. And she's followed by Unbridled's Reign in sixth. It is 4 lengths back to Miss Empire State, who's running in seventh, followed by Beautiful Banks in eighth. And a huge break back to Keen Dancer, who trails the field. The quarter in the slop, 22 and 4/5 seconds. Endless Crusade leads here by a length and a half with Lost Anchor racing in second. Tap the Heart is down at the rail, and on the outside is Half Birthday. Then comes Alicia's Way, who's on the far outside, all chasing Endless Crusade to the top of the stretch. It's Endless Crusade by almost 2.5 lengths now. Endless Crusade is in front, around the half in 47-2. Half Birthday and Lost Anchor. Down on the inside, Tap the Heart. And out in the middle of the track, it is Alicia's Way. It is still Endless Crusade with Alicia's Way gaining ground on the outside as they head for the 16th pole. And putting in a late run is Beautiful Banks. It is Endless Crusade and Alicia's Way. Alicia's Way takes over in deep stretch, and it will be Alicia's Way to win it and another upset winner. Beautiful Banks came on to complete a big exacta.
Yeah, 15-1 over 24-1 for that exacta. Alicia's Way, who had done very little running first couple of starts of her career, gets the upset score here.
I think we call this finding your friends. Would that be fair to say, Jonathan?
Yeah, but she ran for 40 last time, which must have been a bad maiden 40 then.
Yeah, there were first-time starters were 1-2 in that race, actually, and they were both Rudy Rodriguez horses, didn't even take that money. Who finished third, the 2 or did the 7 get there? Because the 2 finished third. This could be one wild triple. The rider in the 2 is not one of the best finishers I've ever seen. But got second, got third. Wow. So what price is the 26-1?
Yeah, it looks like 8-9-2. It's going
Got
to be
this,
a
Greg?
massive trifecta here. This is Alicia's Way finishing. Showed a hint of ability at this level last start and then completely backed up.
Listen, there was nobody in this race that had done any kind of running in their races. So I didn't like this horse. As I pointed out in the Bowspray, the 9's 33 buyer, 2 back, was equal, and I didn't pick the 9, but was equal to the buyer that the 7 ran last time out, and that horse was 3-2. None of the firsters could run, and you get weird results. I mean, I don't want to be mean, but you know this, my saying, bad horses win bad races.
If you grew up on 892 Mulberry Street, you're having a good day, aren't you?
Yeah, if you grew up on
Even if I did, I wouldn't have played this result. By the way, pick 5 is going to be over 50K.
How does somebody have it?
How
does? The reality is
yeah,
the parlay is only about 160,000, I think, for $2, so it's about 40,000. But man, that's a lot of alls, Jonathan.
Well, you know, there's potentially 2 singles, potentially. Could have singled the first leg with the Todd Pletcher running that one.
Really?
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Second time starter,
Went
first
off
time in
4
the
to 5.
You
Pedigree
could
was there.
have.
Pedigree was there.
You could have.
Really? That horse had a big pedigree?
Yeah, the dam was a turf horse.
Oh.
Rosalind?
Yeah, but she also wanted to run 11 furlongs. I mean, she was a distance turf horse. She's a horse that Ken McPeak, I think, brought to the Epsom Oaks, and she threw the rider and ran off. Went all the way to England, I think, and ran off.
If someone asked me this question, I would text you. So don't look at me. I don't know the answer.
No, I think it
Went
did.
off, I believe, went off, what, 4 to 5?
Yeah, it was, and the horse
then
who
you had a
finished
2
third
to 5.
should have won. Got a rotten trip.
Yeah,
the
I
way the
guarantee it was a single, all, single, all.
Likely. We'll have the
Well, there were
prices
multiple winners.
from this one in a moment. Let's get back to Churchill Downs. Still have our Dream Supreme to come. Brian Hernandez Jr., Song River, and this daughter of Liam's Map starting to put it all together.
Yeah, no, I agree. This was a much more impressive win than the one she had prior to it, Jonathan.
Yeah, and look, she didn't have a great trip in here. She broke slowly, and going 5.5 on the dirt. I think of any trip you could draw up for me, going 5.5 on the dirt and breaking slow has to be the worst trip you can do.
Yeah, I mean, and the return, the horse off the layoff, she didn't have any excuse. She didn't run terribly, but she didn't run well.
No, pressure on the inside, but she's supposed, at that price, the way that she was supposed to win from there if she was good enough.
Totally agree.
$10.40, Song River. Back-to-back wins as we move into the late pick 4 at Churchill. 1-turn mile, maiden special weight, $120,000 purse for this maiden race coming up. And Brendan Walsh, with a horse who took money first time out and had a wide trip. Mask Patrol going to stretch out in here. Some intriguing, likely race horses to the outside. Brad Cox has Hornbeam in here. He's also got Marquis Ride, the 2, who's not taking any money at all.
When was the last time you saw 2 Brad Cox first-time starters in the same race, and they're both about 20 to 1.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, I didn't look at the stats going long. His stats are okay, are mediocre. He's 4 for 40 with 2-year-olds making their debuts in dirt routes. He's 0 for 20-something with 7 furlongs. So he does not win with this type, which means usually he runs them, they need a race, and they're kind of slow.
One more look down the stretch in the nightcap. Eric Cancel on Alicia's way. Laubin filly. Last time out, a lot closer to the action here, and just finishing the best on this off-going here at a big price, 15 to 1, after we saw a couple of other monster upsets in this late pick 5 sequence. 32.80 to close out this Saturday card here in New York. Pick 4, 15,000 plus the pick 5, 52,000, 296, and yes, we have a carryover in the pick 6 of $61,000 going into Sunday. Eric Cancel won the opener on the card. He wins the nightcap on the card. Eric, you have a lot of success here. You won your first ever riding title on this New York circuit at this meet last year. What is it about Aqueduct that we see you riding some of the best that you ever do?
To be honest, I mean, it's just, you got to put all year round hard work, you know, and to stay here in the winter in this cold, you know, you just want to try to get your A game into it. You know, you want to try to do as best as you can, and I'm just glad that I've been getting the opportunities to ride the horses that I've been riding and just trying to ride with confidence.
Did you have a game plan coming into this race with this filly? You'd been on her in each of her 2 prior starts. She had not shown a whole lot. I guess put in a little bit of a middle move in that last start, but then she completely backed up. What were your thought process going into this race today?
Nah, to be honest, I mean, the filly last time when she ran, I just felt that she got pretty tired on me. You know, she wasn't close to the pace first time out. And last time I put her a little bit more close to the pace, and she just needed the race. I told the trainer, and it was exactly that. Today they brought her much more ready for the race, and she got the job done.
Eric, talk about your relationship a bit with your agent, PJ Campo, and it's really worked out very well with the two of you teaming up.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, PJ is a very good person to work with. He knows his job really good, so he just tries to keep me focused. He tries to get the best mounts that we can, and he's always grinding, you know, trying to get the best for both of us, and I really appreciate that from him.
Eric, congrats on a big Saturday afternoon. 2 on the card here. You take the opener, you take the nightcap. That's a long day. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you to all the people that follow us, and thank you for the support always.
Thanks, Eric.
Tremendous meet for that young man here last year. It's toughest jockey colony there is in this game, and with a 6-win afternoon, he was able to win this meet last year.
Yeah, and with Jose Ortiz and Javier Castellano staying around this winter, Trevor McCarthy coming back, Joey Migliori, Richie's son, is going to be his agent. It's going to be a competitive colony, but Eric did have a tremendous winter last year.
Yeah, he's another young rider who's made big strides over the last couple of years. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. Feature still to come from Churchill Downs, Dream Supreme, and Bell's the One. Not going to have to deal with Wisconsin today, but it's going to have to deal with some speed. You're going to have to deal with Frank's Rocket as well. We'll be back.
Eclipse champion Blaine has sired 5 Grade 1 winners, including Nadal, Marley's Freedom, Fault, Abscon, and French Classic winner Senga. Recent top runners include Aga Khan stud Saidabad, a star performer overseas, plus these recent standout performers. With success on the track and success in the ring, this proven son of Arch is truly a gold value stallion. Blaine, standing at Claiborne Farm.
I think at a yearling, you're looking for pretty much an athlete. All horses come in different shapes and sizes. You know, some are tall, some are small, but really you're looking for balance and athleticism in the horse, one that moves well and knows how to use its body. So day-to-day starts in the morning. All the yearlings are out in the field at night, so we keep them out for a majority of the day. We'll come in the morning, get all the stalls ready, and we'll bring them up right about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And they'll stay in the stall for about 5 hours. They'll get a meal first thing when they come in. If they have any blacksmith or vet work that needs to get done, it'll get done at that time. The horses get groomed and bathed at that time, and importantly, they get to rest because they're out in the field fighting and getting that competitive edge.
Two yearlings we're really excited about.
That's the Quality Road out of Lowell. He is a first foal out of Lowell, who is a great racehorse for the farm, and he has been great since day one. He's a big, strong, athletic horse. Hasn't done a thing wrong since he's been over here. Moves well, got a great mind to him. Really has all the qualities that you're looking for. So he's a Warfront out of a mare named Queen Nefertiti. He's a really nice horse, real well balanced, got a good mind to him, very easy moving, and has everything that you're looking for in a horse at this age. My first group are now 4-year-olds. Art Collector was raised out here. He was the big one. And then the filly that won the Santa Anita Oaks, Soothsay, she was raised out here as well. She's a 3-year-old. A horse named Dynamic One that ran second in the Wood Memorial. He was raised out here. We've had a few other stakes winners as well on top of that, but those would be the main 3 so far. I've worked in every aspect of the farm, but the yearlings I kind of figured out was what I wanted to do. And out here, everybody has their own ways, and the way they do it is still pretty simplistic to keeping it pretty ordinary. Outside as much as they can, let the horses be horses.
We're back on America's Day at the Races, our program brought to you in part by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. We have the 8th race coming up next from Churchill Downs, a 1-turn mile. Everyone trying to get that first win on the resume coming up. We're going to have our post parade for you here in a moment. Favorite, Mask Patrol. And 2-1 right now for Brendan Walsh, making start number 2. Took money in the debut. And now going to try stretching out from 6.5 to a mile in this second start.
Yeah, I mean, seems like a perfectly logical horse. But here's a stat. Brendan Walsh is 1 for 34, stretching out maidens in the dirt, and 1 for 15 with second-time starters, stretching from sprints routes. In fairness, though, 6.5 furlongs to a mile. It's a mile around 1 turn. But pointing it out. Here's
Minnesota Ready, a more than ready 2-year-old on the rail for Neil Pessin. We're going to see his Bell's the One coming up.
Tried turf first time out. The pedigree really says more turf.
First-time starter by Candy Ride here, Marquee Ride, Brad Cox.
Yeah, I mean, Brad Cox is going to have to beat me at 21-1 in Kentucky with a first-time starter.
Weird to see that barn at that number. Surfer Dude, 8-1. Dallas Stewart was just 3rd behind Giant Game, who hit the board in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
I agree, and I mean, I don't know why this horse is a big price in here. Seems to be improving for Dallas Stewart. Definitely a player.
36-1 next door. Down to Business, Fed Biz, 2-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, not the craziest 36-1 shot, but these seem like some tougher horses this one's going to be facing outside of Gulfstream.
Here's Mass Patrol, the favorite at 5-2.
Yeah, I mean, ran a good figure first time out, a logical horse, but this is a tough race. One of the major contenders.
Cloudy for Shug McGahee. Corey Lanery aboard.
Yeah, showed some tactical speed. Now stretching out for Shug. You get Corey Lanery. I'm sure he'll try his hardest to get his way down to the rail.
Mike Maker put Seal Beach as a maiden into the Grade 1 Breeders' Futurity.
Yeah, that was a silly spot last time out. He's running out of chances, but he's still run well enough that he can win this race.
5-2. Here's 7 flat, Ron Moquette.
Yeah, look, Andy, this is a horse that you reminded me of a horse that took a lot of money on debut in a race where he shouldn't have been taking as much money as he
And he got completely and totally eliminated to start.
Yep.
I'm betting 7 flat. I just want to make sure it's out there.
Here's Brad Cox, the other first-time starter, Union Rags, Florent Giroux.
Brad Cox has lousy number with first-time starters, and like his other firster, a huge price.
And Epicenter, Steve Asmussen, second-time starter who debuted showing speed at 7 furlongs.
You know, the horse didn't take a lot of money first out for Steve, but I guess you could expect this horse could run a little bit better. You get the outside draw. Well, at 5-1, maybe a little bit shorter than I was hoping for. I thought maybe this one could slip by a little bit with the Brad Cox runners in here, but like we mentioned, they're not taking any money.
Beautiful Saturday afternoon under the Twin Spires in Louisville. Time for our market mover. It is the horse from the rail who debuted on grass at Keeneland. And now going to try dirt here in start number 2, 9-1 on Minnesota Ready for Neil Pessin. Lothenbach Stables out of Beskitzen will ride. If you want to bet the market mover or anybody else in this race, you can do so by going to twinspires.com or downloading the app. Let's go to Frank Lyons for more.
Thank you, Wolfie. Yeah, there's a wide open maiden special weight here. Your favorite is 5-2 right now, from what I can see anyway. That's Seal Beach, who tried to breed his futurity last time out. Actually, Julian rode him right there. Went off at 38-1 as still a maiden and ran 10th, beaten 19 1/4 lengths. There was a lot of horses around him that had good form, but he was still beaten 10th, beaten 19 lengths. But he'd been second at Churchill behind Great Escape. That's the Midnight Storm of Rudy Brissett's, who was basically, he ran in the Breeders' Futurity as well, was actually, I think, 3rd choice in the Breeders' Futurity, didn't run so well. This horse had finished second in Mr. Prankster and finished 3rd to Chatterloff from Wesley Ward and Mr. Prankster from Todd Pletcher's barn. He had good form up till that last race, but that was a grade 1, so give him a break for that. He's now 5-2 on the board. The other horse that I liked in here was the 10 Epicenter, who was supposed to be a very nice horse, a good prospect for Steve Asmussen. They thought he'd need his first race. He'd improve in his second race. He looks like he's going to improve here today. He's 5-1 on the board right now. And then the other horse is the 8-7 flat, who got completely eliminated at the break, was 5-1, ran behind Dr. Perry from Steve Asmussen's barn. Also, Dr. Perry came back to be favoured, but disappointed in his next start. But I do think that was a good maiden special weight. And then I'd like to say a little mention about the 1 Minnesota Ready, looked well in the paddock, and the 5 Mass Patrol looked very well in the paddock also. So it's a wide open maiden special weight, 10 horse field, but I'm going to go with the top pick, the 7 Seal Beach, second 10 Epicenter, and the 3rd, but I hope he's first, 7 flat. Wolfie?
All right, Frank, thank you. There's one of many he mentioned, and that's the one JK brought up as well. 7 flat, this flatter second-time starter for Ron Moquette. Had that bad beginning, and now going to stretch out to a mile. We're going to take a look at Seal Beach in action, though, from Mike Maker. Seal Beach has become your favorite at 5-2 right now.
The problem with Seal Beach is not his talent. He's good enough to win this race. It's just, A, he's coming out of a spot where he had no shot. You wonder if he'll run back as well. He's kind of had his chances, but he has run some pretty good horses. I mean, he lost to Mike Prankster in the second start.
Yeah, I mean, look, he does have back races that fit, and there is a sense of confidence you get when Mike Maker takes the chance of putting him in a race like the Breeders' Futurity. The problem is sometimes those races where they're in over their heads, it can sometimes discourage them, and yeah. I don't want to say this, it's a strong word, but it can almost ruin them. Like, they just don't, it's a bad experience, they don't have fun out there, and it can go the wrong way.
It's one thing to run a horse, you know, like, well, we saw Good Magic do it, we saw Command Performance do it, that had run well enough to win races. It's another thing to do it with horses that probably didn't really class up in that spot. Just to, you know, not to belabor the point with 7 flat, we talked pretty quickly. 7 flat was 5-1 first time out in a 11-horse field. There was a lot of stuff going on. It was clearly bet that day. I think we all noted it before the race. And actually, Brogue hit the gate coming out, but it wasn't really his fault. And he just got completely and totally stayed out and just absolutely 100% eliminated at the start. Well, they thought enough to bet on him first time out. And now he's 14-1. So don't you feel like, you know, you missed in this case, maybe you still can go to the wedding?
That's the 8-horse here, 7 flat, Julien Leparoux for Ron Moquette. Yeah, people jump off quickly, don't they?
And the thing about that is, and I think I remember pointing it out that day, Ron Moquett is only 8% with first-time starts in his career. So the fact that he was getting bet that into a big field, into some horses there was buzz about, there was clearly a story about this horse, and he didn't have a chance to run in the race. So I don't even care what the paper says. I don't care about I don't care that he ran a 40, 50.
Oh, that's
it doesn't matter.
meaningless.
It means nothing.
And he could have been 40-1 first time out, this horse. And Flatter, as you were saying to me off camera, he's a sire that certainly they can get more distance, so there's no concern, at least from a pedigree standpoint, with a mile. Listen, I'm not saying this horse, but I have to. This is the kind of horse I love betting on.
5-2 favorite, back to the 5. Mass Control. It's going back and forth between the 5 and 7. It's the late pick 4. Let's go to Travis Stone.
Surfer Dude fractious in there. They're in the gate. And they're off. Mask Patrol was squeezed back at the beginning. Marquee Ride breaks alertly. Surfer Dude is there. Minnesota ready down toward the rail. And Epicenter quickly from that outside post races up to grab the lead. So it's Epicenter who tries to cross and clear as they head up the chute, and they come for the main track and does so. Seal Beach is on to be second. Surfer Dude toward the inside, and Claudia's up close to. Those first 4 are tightly packed. The margin of 2.5 back to Marquee Ride, who tries to advance up on through. So down the backstretch run, it's Epicenter with a half-length advantage. Surfer Dude is right there second. Seal Beach is third. Cloudy's in fourth. Marquee Ride fifth. Down to Business Racing in sixth. Minnesota ready on the move from seventh. Mask Patrol up into eighth. 7 Flat is ninth by 4, and Hornbeam is out sprinted early on. Onto the far turn they go. Surfer Dude comes on through to challenge Epicenter for the lead, and they whipped that opening quarter in 22-4 and a sharp opening half in 45-4. So round the far turn, 3 furlongs out. Epicenter's back in front. Epicenter has retaken the lead as they race for the quarter pole, but Surfer Dude is still keeping pace down toward the rail. Seal Beach under pressure, wide while third. Cloudy's going to try and cut the corner fourth. Mask Patrol's on for fifth. At the top of the stretch, Epicenter strikes the front at the top of the lane, and just like that opens up by 2. Surfer Dude wanders outside with Seal Beach, then it's Cloudy, Marquee Ride, and Mask Patrol down to the final 16th. It's Epicenter still there. Seal Beach is finishing with interest, but not enough to catch a sharp winner in Epicenter. Epicenter scores by 4. Seal Beach was second. Surfer Dude was third. Tight fourth at 7 Flat or Marquee Ride.
Well, Joel, aggressive early. Rosario here on Epicenter. Seal Beach got in front of him, and then he re-rallied for the victory. Impressive here, stretching out to a mile, start number 2.
This horse was clearly best here. The pace was honest. I mean, nobody made up a lot of ground, but this horse was best here.
Yeah, sent away from the outside. Horse didn't take a lot of money on debut. I think one of the tricky things when you have these second-time starters that were debuting going shorter and now they're getting to go longer, maybe he didn't take money because the story was this horse needs more ground, and apparently more ground was exactly what the 10 Epicenter wanted.
10-7-3. 3-1 on Epicenter. Which will thoroughbred Steve Asmussen, Joel Rosario with another winner. We're going to have more on Joel, taking a peek back there, well clear of this field. Appreciating the extra ground and the experience of that debut under his belt. Looked impressive here against this group.
Yeah,
it's been all smiles all year. What a year he's having. Your favorite, I'd have to say, for the Eclipse Award, right?
Oh, if he doesn't win the Eclipse Award this year, it would be ridiculous at this point. I mean, frankly, and this is not a knock on Irad, he should have gotten it last year. I think way too many of the voters in these human categories look only at money won. And that's like, oh, the guy won the most money, I'm going to give it to him. I think Irad had a deserving Eclipse Award win, but I thought that Joel deserved it more than he did last year. This year, he can't use the excuse. Got the money won, got the stakes wins. This year is Joel Rosario's
more than
year.
$3.5 million than Irad in earnings, closing in on potentially a record in stakes wins and graded stakes wins. Joel Rosario, just an incredible 2021 campaign. 10-7-3-8. Well, the prices from this one when we come back. And we'll set up race 9, and then it's time for the Dream Supreme and Bell's the One. Still to come from Churchill Downs. Stay with us.
Respect the law. He's earned it. A Grade 1 winning juvenile.
'Tis the Law pops the cork in the champagne.
A classic winning 3-year-old.
Tis the Law is going to win the first leg of the Triple Crown.
5 triple-digit buyers.
Respect the law. 'Tis the Law.
The best son of Red Hot Sire Constitution.
He's left the others behind. He's going to win the Run Happy Travers.
'Tis the Law.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
The return of Sunday Silence.
Sunday Silence surges to the front. It's Yoshida in front. Yoshida takes charge at the top of the stretch, and Yoshida wins the Turf Classic.
Here comes Yoshida, storming home in the center with Gunnevera. Yoshida! Yoshida has won the one-word.
The perfect balance. Yoshida.
The symposium is important because it gathers everyone together, right? To get together face to face is where it's going to happen, where you can actually make the deals that you need to.
We all get together and try to determine things that are happening in the business, things that should happen, and things that we need to turn our attention to.
The symposium brings the different aspects of the industry together, and it also gives the vendors an opportunity to interact with their potential customers.
Tom's Data opens up to lead by 2. By My Standards and Pirates Punch bang it out second and third. Silver Dust is now fourth. They're off the turn. Tom's Data shaken up to a 3-length lead. By My Standards is trying hard, but he's still second. Silver Dust is third. Multiplier trying to come on late for fourth, but with a 16th to go, it's total domination for Tom's Data. Tom's Data scores by 4.
Incredibly sad loss in our horse racing family just last week. Miguel Mena, seen here winning on Tom's Data, one of his 2 Stephen Foster victories, one of the all-time leading riders at Churchill Downs, killed earlier this month in a pedestrian accident in Louisville, Kentucky. He was just 6 days shy of his 35th birthday, struck by a vehicle on the freeway. Death was ruled an accident. He leaves behind a wife and 2 daughters, would have turned 35 just a few days later, and jockeys across the country wearing black armbands in remembrance of Miguel Mena.
Yeah, your thoughts go out to his family for sure.
And it's interesting to see the riders showing so much support because, you know, you're in that room. It's an interesting dynamic anyways, where you know, imagine if the Islanders and the Rangers went back to the same locker room, right? They're out there competing, but they have so much love for each other and appreciate the fact that they're all out there risking their lives every day. And I think there's a connection between those riders that we might not ever understand.
Came to the U.S. at just 17 years old to be a rider here. Got his first win at Calder back in 2003. Started riding at Churchill in the fall of 2006 and became one of the top 15 riders in terms of victories all time at that racetrack. Big loss in horse racing with the passing of Miguel Mena. We're back at Churchill in the Winner's Circle. Epicenter, Joel Rosario, Steve Asmus, and Winchell Thoroughbreds. They win again here. Not this time. Colts winning second time out. Impressive here. Let's go to Frank Lyons.
Guys, with winning jockey Joel Rosario, who's actually leading the country in earnings right now. You look like you're on your way to the Eclipse Award. Will this be your first Eclipse Award if you're lucky enough to get it?
Yeah, if we're lucky enough, yes.
Yeah, well, I don't see how you couldn't get it this year because you've been awesome this year. Now tell me a little bit about Epicenter. What kind of horse is he?
I mean, he's super fast at the gate. He broke really well out of there, and I mean, it looked like, you know, I come off a little bit of that horse when he put me pressure a little bit on the inside, and he was able to just take off back again and then keep going with that high cruising speed.
Now, where are you going to spend your winter?
I think we go to Florida, and then we walk in Oakland. So Oakland and Florida, back and forth. But you know, it's a decision that, you know, wrong.
Sure.
Yeah, I had to wait for him.
Well, don't forget to bring your big sweater and coat to Florida.
Yes.
Yeah.
Different weather.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, very nice weather in Florida. Not so good in Oakland.
I mean, it's okay. It's just cold.
Yeah. Well, when you're winning, it's warm everywhere, right?
That's right.
Yeah. All right, Joe Rosario, leading rider in the country, aboard Epicenter for Steve Asmussen.
So, hot springs in Hallandale for Joel in his near future.
We'll see. I'm sorry he didn't stay in New York. I'm surprised he went there. You know, I mean, racing's good here, the purses are good, and we have turf racing, but I wish him the best of luck. And I'm going to say to Frank, he's not going to be lucky to win the Eclipse Award. This is a well-earned Eclipse Award, and once again, I feel he was unfairly not given last year.
You heard what he said after that, right?
I know he was. What? Oh, no, I know he was giving Frank a hard time.
$8.20 for the win. Epicenter winning second time out. Seal Beach, Surfer Dude second and third. The ninth on the card. An allowance race. Now winners of 2 lifetime 2-year-old fillies. Traveling 3/4 of a mile. And Girl with a Dream. Brad Cox with a major contender here. Daughter of Practical Joke, who was just second last start at Keeneland sprinting. She had a 2-length lead in the stretch, though.
She did. She should have won that race. She lost it 3-5. I think she may have some competition from our friend Tom Amos with Pipeline Girl on the outside.
We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. We'll recap one of the huge upsets we've seen this year when we come back.
Good Magic's in front. Good Magic pulls away from Somomini. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Good Magic to the front of the field in the Toyota Bluegrass to win it. The champ is back. Good Magic in a good-looking performance.
800,000, 75, 875, 8.5. Pete, 775,000. Thank you.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on FS2, program brought to you where you can play all the races we bring you. Naira Bets. Go to nairabets.com, download the app to get involved and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Let's put this into perspective in terms of upsets we've seen, not just this year, but in recent memory. How big was this upset we saw in the Artie Schiller?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm sure if we went back and thought about it over 10 years, there have been crazy wins. It's not just that the winner of the Artie Schiller was extremely tough to make on paper. The horse was much the best, too.
With a not good trip at all. He was wide around the racetrack, as we talked about the entire way. Keep your eyes on the 12 here. This is Mandate, who's coming out of a starter allowance win at Laurel on the grass for Robert Johnston.
When 44-1 shots like this win stakes, typically the favorites don't show up, get bad trips, get stopped, get wide, get shut off, whatever it might be.
5 hit the wire together.
And they're all, I mean, Rinaldi didn't really have an excuse.
Flavio's a little unlucky, but
Yeah, but still, he's running away from him late. you
no,
know?
I
It's-
guess, they listed the course as good. It wasn't good. It was yielding. They ran 139. I think that was the final time. Assuming that time is accurate, they would have gone 35 on a firm turf course. So I think it's fair to say this course was yielding. So maybe this horse relished the ground. That's the only thing I can tell you, because this horse won like he was the favorite.
He did, and on a turf course where you don't want to be drawn outside.
Street wide the entire way around the track. I mean,
What a performance. Tip our cap. What a performance. Mandate now. 5 for 17 lifetime on the lawn and beating. We said going into this race, it was a stakes race. Should have been very easily, this could have been a graded stakes race. There were some very accomplished runners in this field that he beat.
I agree. I'm going to be very curious to see what this guy does going forward. Do they send him down to a place like whether it's Florida or they send him to Fairgrounds? But the way he's running now, this wasn't a bad field. This guy ran.
Keep in mind, too, look, horses can change. Tom Morley's horse in here. Tell your daddy he claimed for $40,000. All of a sudden, that horse got into career form. Things can change.
And to be fair, he did claim this horse. I mean, before Wayne Potts had him, this horse was claimed by a very bad trainer, Todd Pletcher. So an easy trainer to come from. He should never have gotten in the Hall of Fame this year. Clearly, he was lucky to get in there. I mean, the number of horses that have claimed from Todd Pletcher that have gone and done well, you could probably count them on a hand that's missing a couple of fingers. What can you say? It happens.
Surprise, surprise. And there were a few of them on today's card, a pick 5 that came back over $50,000 this afternoon with a 2-5 favorite and with a 4-5 favorite in that sequence.
Yeah, and Jonathan was saying, we were talking about it off camera, it feels like those tickets probably involved a lot of singling, specifically with the first winner and the third winner. But
Single, all, perhaps.
Not a
$283 ticket for 50 cents. So it's not the winningest strategy long term, but congratulations if you hit it today.
Right. I mean, the idea with multi-race bets or superfectas and pick, those things, pick 4s, pick 5s, pick 4s, pick 5s specifically, the takeout is being diffused through each leg, and you're using your handicapping acumen to sort of diffuse the takeouts if you do it. If you're betting a ticket that's single by all, you're doing the opposite of that. You're betting into a higher takeout bet, and you're giving up the worst of it. It worked out here. It's not a winning strategy.
We're going to take a timeout. We have the 9th coming up from Churchill Downs. Then it's Dream Supreme time. And Bell's the one back in action for Neil Pessin, one of the top filly mare sprinters in the entire country. First up, though, the 6 furlong sprint for 2-year-old fillies. Here's Tom Amos's Pipeline Girl. We'll be back. Stay with us.
It's a domineering display by the ultra-talented McKinsey. McKinsey Preservationist Vino Rosso and Yoshida. McKinsey's in front.
McKinsey, they've done it. McKinsey has it by 2.
It's McKinsey in a dominant performance. Pure class in the Malibu.
How do you become the gold standard in racing partnerships? One horse, one partner, one victory at a time. Congratulations to all our partners who have made West Point the gold standard for the last 3 decades.
Blood Horse Plus, available through bloodhorse.com, provides exclusive, timely, and unmatched content to subscribers, including Fox Sports, Blood Horse branded weekly programs, a detailed stakes winners section, behind-the-scenes videos from Blood Horse staff, on-demand access to deeper horse statistics, and a $5 monthly credit to equineline.com. Upgrade to Blood Horse Plus today.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
We're back at America's Day at the Races on FS2. Good to have you with us. Program brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. It's been a good career for Brad Cox, but especially the last couple of years. And Nick Sko stepping up on the big stage in the Classic, handling the question of 1.25 miles, and looks like a lock for Horse of the Year.
Well, I was saying to Jonathan before off camera, and I'm sure he won't be unanimous, like you said, but anybody that doesn't vote for him to be Horse of the Year should lose their vote. Who could you possibly make a case should be Horse of the Year over this horse?
No, I agree with you. I mean, I think we kind of came up with the best other alternative. It could be like a Central Quality, I guess. I don't see it. It 100% should be Nick Sko.
Yeah, I wouldn't vote for Central Quality to be 3-year-old of the year. I don't have a vote. I don't believe he should be 3-year-old champ. I think it's an argument he should be 3-year-old champ. I'm not going to argue somebody did it, but I think that's a horse race. This horse did everything you had to do to win the championship.
Yeah, you win the Whitney, you win the Classic.
Won the race formerly known as the Don. I mean, all year, horse raced all year long. Won the 2 biggest races, arguably.
Undefeated around 2 turns for Brad Cox. He has been sensational, and we're hoping, the man aboard, by the way, we're going to get to him in a second here, Joel Rosario. That was the 209th win of the year in the Classic for Joel Rosario. This looks like award time. We're hoping to see him one more time, and potentially, if we do see him one more time, it's going to be the Pegasus against the horse that's probably going to likely take his path, Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile to Classic. Life is Good. Seeing those two go on the front end together, how about that? Joel Rosario, of course, has been the pilot on Nick Sko, and he is chasing the all-time stakes record, the all-time graded stakes win record of Jerry Bailey. Gomez, though, with the all-time stakes win, 76. He's at 8 behind. He's got a chance to get there, and as we talked about, he's got more than $3.5 million in earnings over Irad Ortiz Jr. It looks like an Eclipse Award is locked up for him.
It is. It's going to be very hard for him to win 7 or 8 graded stakes before the year is up. Might not seem like a lot, but he's only got about 6 weeks to do it. And I mean, Churchill has a bunch that 1 week, but
I tell you what, if he's not already executive platinum or whatever, he's gonna be pretty close flying around this country trying to do it.
yeah, he's a great rider, and he's had a great year. Listen, there are a lot of great riders out there. And it's not to say Irad wouldn't be deserving in a lot of years. Just as he was a deserving winner last year, I just thought Joel reserved it more. But that doesn't knock Irad Ortiz, and I thought Jose Ortiz's performance in the Breeders' Cup was second to none. He and William Buick, I thought, were the stars of that weekend as far as their overall riding. There's a lot of great riders out there.
So he's 8 shy of Garrett Gomez's record for 76 stakes wins in the year. He's going to have a chance to get number 69 today, next, in the 10th on the card. On Club Car, who was trying to run down Bell's the One when they met last time out at Keeneland. We'll get to that race coming up. This race, 6 furlongs for 2-year-old fillies, and 7-5 favorite Girl with a Dream, as Andy mentioned, odds-on favorite, but beat at Keeneland last time out. That was coming out of the spin-away.
Yeah, are you going to try to beat her, Jonathan?
I'm gonna try to use Lady Dene.
I can't bet Lady Dene. I know she has some dirt pedigree. It's more turf, and I thought her last race was bad. And I'm not going to take a horse that was better on the turf going the wrong surface, but obviously she can win. She has
Lady Dene, that's the 5. She's only been on the lawn so far in each of her 3 starts. She's coming out of the Grade 3 Matron. Blinkers go on for Joe Sharp today as they come onto the track, and here comes our post parade. We'll start with Sunday Grace. Speed inside, coming off a maiden win at the, you'd have to say, softer Indiana Grand Circuit.
Yeah, but, you know, the pace is murky here. I won't be shocked if she's in front.
Edgar Morales rides, again, 8-1 there from that inside post. Divine Charger, Jordan Blair, and the maiden win came on turf at Ellis. First time on dirt.
Yeah, a little bit different than Lady Dene. This horse doesn't have as much early speed as Lady Dene. Also hasn't been running as fast. I feel like this is a turf horse. It's probably up against it.
3-2 favorite, the Brad Cox filly by Practical Joke.
She may win, especially if Lady Dene isn't a dirt horse, but I don't like a horse that's 3-5 for Brad Cox, opens 2 lengths in the mid-stretch and gets run down. It's a bad sign.
Murgatroyd, Brody's Cause filly.
Kind of curious what a Murgatroyd is. This is a horse that ran for 50 last time, got the win. Just too slow.
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Yeah.
Isn't that there's a Seinfeld episode involving that.
Well, as a cartoon character, you say
Well,
way back in the day.
we've discussed this before. I feel like
2-1,
a deja vu.
Lady Dene, Tyler Gaffleone, who was 6 for 6 yesterday at Churchill.
Yeah, this is my kind to bet against. This horse was very good in the turf first time out. Tough trip 2 back. Bad last
Tyler.
time. Now going to the wrong surface.
Was the first rider to do that since 1907, by the way. Maybe Lucky and Wild, big long shot went by, and here's Pipeline Girl 3-1.
I was there that day, actually, in 1907. We'll get back to that. I like this one for Tom Amoss, cutting back in distance. One first time in the dirt can improve. I'm taking a shot with my man Tom Amoss in here.
And Bullet Drill coming in as well for 4 furlong move back on November 2nd on this racetrack. 3-1 from that outside post. We're 3 minutes away from the 9th. Take advantage of the Twin Spires bet back offer. Place a win bet on select races at Churchill Thursday through Sunday. You'll get your bet back up to $10 if your horse runs 2nd or 3rd. All you have to do is opt in. Bonus funds credited into your account every Monday. Download the Twin Spires app or go to twinspires.com. Let's go to Frank.
Hey guys, so a 2-year-old race here again, non-winners of 2. Like Joe Rosario to go back-to-back with wins, looking for his 3rd win on the day. He's aboard the Brad Cox trained Girl with a Dream. She finished 2nd last time out behind Knowing Glance, who comes from the Mike Maker barn. She actually came right back to win. She won her last 2, broke her maiden for $150,000, but did it nicely. So that's Girl with a Dream, who ran 2nd to Knowing Glance. That's the one I think is going to get the money here. She steps back to 6 furlongs after going 6.5 last time out, just coming up a little short. And then Lady Danae looks very well. She adds blinkers today. Tyler Gaffleone, who was 6 for 6 on the card yesterday, rides her, and she adds blinkers. She finished 6 beaten 2 1/4 lengths behind a Bubble Rock last time out. She ran the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. She finished 12th, but she was only beaten 4.5 lengths behind Echo Zulu. She's by Klimt, cost $210,000 as a 2-year-old. She's won 1 of 3. I think that she will either win or run 2nd. And then the 7 Pipeline Girl for an old mate of mine, Jerry Karoom, for Tom Amoss. $100,000 purchase. Won first time out right here at Churchill, then tried the grass at Kentucky Downs, finishing 3rd, beaten 4.5 lengths, and then was no factor in the Alcibiades, but we'll put a line through that race. Pipeline Girl looks to get back on track here today, but I think it's between the favourites. But I put the 3 Girl with a Dream on top with Joe Rosario and Lady Danae and Tyler Gaffleone from Pipeline Girl with James Graham. Wolfie?
All right, Frank, thank you. We're going to take a look at Girl with a Dream, her Keeneland effort last time out. She is the 3-2 favorite in here. She looked like she was gone in the stretch, and she got run down. Let's go back to the beginning. Bumped around a little bit early.
Yeah, she broke a little bit slow. But it wasn't that significant, was it, John? I didn't see the head on it.
No, I don't think it was. Well, it cost her a half a length. She ends up getting positioned pretty early in the race where she wanted to be. Nice, comfortable, stalking outside trip. And at this, if you had her at odds on here at 3-5, you're supposed to feel like you're going to win. If you had her here, you're supposed to feel like you were going to win. And the fact that she got run down. Now, that was at 6.5. Maybe the 6 furlongs is going to help her out a little bit, but I don't trust her at a short price.
Yeah, right. I think she's a bad bet at 6-5, but obviously she could win this race.
That is a tough beat right there. Again, as J.K. mentioned, going to shorten up a half furlong, and this will be her 4th career start.
The other thing I don't like is that she wasn't going to win the spin away, so we'll throw out her 2nd race. But she ran her best career start in her 1st start, and she's regressing. You want horses that are improving, and she doesn't seem to be. She seems to be going in the other direction.
Was 9+ lengths clear of the 3rd place finisher in that race.
Right.
So
well, the 3rd place finisher isn't much horse. I mean, she ran a 66 buyer. I mean, I just don't think it was a very good effort. And she can win here. Right? It's a bad field. She should have won.
6-5 favorite. Meanwhile, there's Tom Amoss's Pipeline Girl, who won her debut at Churchill on this racetrack back on June 25th.
And it wasn't a particularly fast race, to be fair. The 2nd horse is Steve Asmussen, horse that's okay. And then Tom tried the turf with her. Big purses at Kentucky Downs. Why not? She didn't run that badly, running 3rd. And then I'm guessing the owner got aggressive and probably wanted to run in the Alcibiades. They took their shot. She was 65 to 1. She didn't do any running. Now she's cutting back in distance in a more reasonable spot. I don't know how good the workouts are, but they show okay, at least for time perspective. I don't pay attention to workouts without anyone. You get any reports that those works were good, Jonathan?
No, I mean, it seems, no, I had not. It seems to be working well. And like I said, I think your point that she's being drawn outside with that cutback, you would imagine that she'll come running here.
Let's go to Travis Stone. Here's race 9 from Churchill.
And they're off. Lady Danae, bit of an awkward start at mid-pack, breaks near the back of the pack. Maybe Lucky and Wild races out for the lead. Murgatroyd is there. Sunday Grace comes through toward the rail. Pipeline Girl on the far outside joins them to make it 4 early. Lady Danae's right in behind while 5th, and Divine Charger 6th and toward the rail. Tight pack backstretch run. And Girl with a Dream allows these first 6 to fight it out early, settles in about 6 lengths off the lead. So down the back stretch they go, a 3-ply battle heading for the far turn, and Sunday Grace with an inside post going to cut the corner and grab the upper hand. Murgatroyd is right there, maybe Lucky and Wild on the far outside. Divine Chargers in behind while 4th, Pipeline Girl 5th. Lady Danae's racing 6th. Girl with a Dream has been angled outside and is making some progress out of 7th. They come for the top of the stretch. Maybe Lucky and Wild with a wide trip has come on to take the lead off the turn, but they're swarming in now. Here comes Pipeline Girl on the far outside. Divine Chargers there. Girl with a Dream down the center of the track was last a furlong ago and is closing in quickly. 1 furlong to go. Divine Chargers short lead. Girl with a Dream continues to rally. These two shoulder to shoulder. Girl with a Dream on the outside. Divine Charger toward the rail. They're in the center of the track though, and it's Girl with a Dream who gets the upper hand short of the wire and wins it. Girl with a Dream from last to first. Divine Charger was 2nd. Pipeline Girl and maybe Lucky and Wild.
A little different than she tried to do it last time. Widest of all around the turn. And enough for Girl with a Dream as the favorite at even money.
Vintage Joel Rosario, right? He rode her like a turf horse. He dropped back. He saved all the ground. He angled out when they got to the stretch. She got it done. It wasn't impressive. She ran down the other horse, Jonathan, trying the dirt for the first time as the one who took money, Lady Danae, did no running.
And I think people often ask me when we talk about horse racing, they're wanting to ask questions and learn more. They say, how much do the riders matter? And I usually tell them that, 3 of the races it probably mattered, 7 of the other. If there's 10 races on a day, probably anyone would have won. It mattered right there with Joel Rosario. He took back. He was calm. He didn't panic. He circled up and he finished. And nothing against Rafael Bejarano, but in a battle like this, give me Joel Rosario every time.
He's a very, very strong rider, and you say in panic. I don't think he's ever panicked. You almost never see him check sharply. He's
cool a customer as there is.
He's a lot like Ramon Dominguez, I think, in that respect.
You think this jockey colony's taking together collections to get him a return ticket to New York yet?
I don't think they were happy when they heard he was coming, I'll tell you that.
Even money, and look who he's riding for. Back-to-back wins, rides for Asmussen. Brad Cox here. Getting some good mounts.
And the silks of Jim Backey, who trained the Champagne winner, Jack Christopher, who unfortunately
owned the Champagne.
Not trained, owned, yes. That'd be Chad.
And he's also got one of the great agents in the game, in Ron Anderson, who's had a lot of success, a lot of good riders, but a great agent.
We talked about the records he's chasing, Joel, Jerry Bailey, Garrett Gomez, Ron Anderson was their agent as well.
No, he's a fabulous agent.
Even money favorite here in the 9th from Churchill, 3, 2, 7, 6. We have our feature still to come. And that man right there, Joel Rosario, going to try and get the 69th stakes win of his season coming up on Club Car. Got to deal with Bell's the One, though. We'll be back.
A Grade 1 winner on both dirt and turf, War of Will became a classic winner with this victory in the Preakness Stakes. He added turf credentials to his resume with a determined victory in the Grade 1 Maker's Mark Mile, a winner and Grade 1 placed at 2, multiple graded stakes victor at 3, and Grade 1 winner again at 4. This son of War front has proven his class at every level. A classic winner with a stallion's pedigree, War of Will, standing at Claiborne Farm.
I'm Olivia Desch, and today we're here to talk about Always Dreaming. It's always very exciting to stand a Kentucky Derby winner like Always Dreaming. Besides the Kentucky Derby, he won the Florida Derby, actually the fastest time since Alydar in 1978. Always Dreaming has a really big personality. He loves having all the attention on him when two or guests are here. He will actually lift his one leg and turn his head, kind of begging for the mint to be given to him. For all the personality he has while in his stall, he's actually very laid back and well-minded when he goes out to his field. We're very excited so far with what we are seeing with his first yearlings this year. We are seeing great walks on them, just like him. They're very athletic, very racy looking. On top of all the mares that we've bred to him this year, we actually bought one of his daughters out of the Keeneland November sale that we're gonna keep because she just continues to impress us like her dad.
We're back on America's Day at the Races. What a year it has been for Joel Rosario. Hardware likely coming with the first ever Eclipse Award for him. Girl with a Dream. He had to go wide to get this win.
Yeah, but as you can see, he comes from the two path, so he saves all the ground. And this is just Joel, right? He looked at it and thought, maybe he looked and thought, you know, she was aggressive last time. She got run down. Maybe we'll try a little something new. And he's not afraid to drop back in there. Now, sometimes he drops back and he loses, and you say, why wasn't Joel more aggressive? But this is a style he used quite often. He's also a great rider on the front end. He just doesn't ride that way a lot.
Girl with a Dream. Very different than the way she's run in her prior two dirt starts, aside from the spin away. And it works out for it, even money. Short Price gets the victory, and now Joel is going to try and, as we mentioned earlier, pick up stakes victory number 69 on the year as he's chasing Garrett Gomez. 76, the all-time record in a year. And the mount that Joel will be aboard as club car was making up ground on Bell's the One when they last met at Keeneland. Last time out, that was on October 9th in the Thoroughbred Club of America Stakes. 1-5 favorite on Bell's the One, one of the top filly mare sprinters in the country.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those races where he was kind of stayed along behind horses on the backstretch, and then he sort of had to wait for room because Tyler Gaffalione was saving ground. I think it was a bad ride, but I think she ran okay, and if you think that she can move forward with Joel Rosario, 7-2 is a pretty generous price on her.
22 minutes to post in our feature coming up. Many have heard of some of the trailblazing women riders in this sport. Julie Crone, Patty Cooksey, Donna Barton Brothers, just to name a few. Another you may not have heard of is Kathy Howard. While she might not have received the national recognition of those aforementioned names, in Hot Springs, Arkansas, she is an Oaklawn treasure. In horse racing, Kathy Howard is a lifer. She's worked as a paddock judge, placing judge, stakes coordinator, even a stint as a trainer following the death of her husband, Tom Howard. And she's been racing manager for Frank Fletcher Racing Operations for over 20 years.
It is true.
But many don't know about her trailblazing days when she was known as Kathy Moore, a promising female jockey making a name for herself in a world foreign to women.
Seems like horse racing is still a man's sport. Is it any easier for you being a female jockey?
Well, from what I can tell, it's pretty rough. I don't know if it was any harder, 5 or 6 years ago, because I wasn't in the position I'm in now.
But yeah, it was tough. I was so shy. I wasn't shy when I was on a horse, but I was so shy growing up.
See ya.
And I'd be at somebody's stable to work a horse, and if I was a few minutes early, I was too shy to even go into the office or the tack room. If there was more than 2 people in there, I would just stand out there by the door until they came out. Look at this, was my grandmother. That was my grandma. Isn't that something? My grandmother and grandfather, they were Russian, Babadito. They were the first ones that ever took me to the racetrack. It was a big deal.
In 1980, at the age of 23, Kathy became more than the first woman to win a stakes race at Oaklawn.
Despite becoming the first female jockey to post an Oaklawn handicap victory, Moore didn't say anything about women's liberation and equal rights amended. I never said anything like that. It's just 41 years ago, but I remember it like it was yesterday. The Gallant Serenade right here at Oaklawn. I had a speed horse, And so I think I did set the fractions. He was all speed. There's an old gentleman named Jim Hughes that trained, and he rode me. I remember his barn was over there by the gap. He was kind of jumping up and down. And when I was galloping back, he said, "You're a real juryman now. You did it, Kathy, you did it." There's Jim Hughes. That's the guy that was saying, "You made it as a juryman." And he's long been passed, but I'll never forget that. It's just a tough game. I've never really thought about it, except it's kind of like I know what I did. And I know the trails that I've hopefully blazed for some other females. I'm a very humble, quiet person, so, it makes me feel good. It was almost like a past world. And then when I was married to Tom Howard until he died, whenever we won a race, and it was always we, because we worked together, it was a really big, it gave me like almost the same rush, exciting. And now with Mr. Fletcher, and we win a race with a homebred, especially Frank Sparkett, it's almost the same. He's my boss, but he's also my friend. And we have the common interest, the love of horses.
Love that story about Kathy Howard, and now still a big part of this game. She's a big part of Frank Fletcher racing operations, and we're going to see there Philly competing in our feature coming up next.
Love to see women get some spotlight a bit in this game, because women are every bit as big a part of the success in this game as men are. But in a lot of cases, it's behind the scenes, and that's true for a lot of racing in a lot of situations. The behind the scenes people don't get the credit, and it's nice to see women get a little bit of spotlight shine on them.
Yeah, it's always good when that opportunity comes where people can learn more about the behind the scenes, because I think that the behind the scenes, whether it's the help on the backside with grooms and exercise riders, and there's a much bigger presence, female presence in racing that I think sometimes shows up on the surface.
No question about it.
Well, the one Kathy Howard involved with in here, that is Frank Sparkett, who was extremely good last year. She was so good, they pointed her to the Breeders' Cup Sprint against the boys. She's not been as good this year, but she still had a pretty good 2021. She's going to have to step it up a little, though, to beat Bell's the One.
Yeah, and I think the reason they ran against the boys in the sprint, and Bill Mott said it, they didn't want to go 7 in the Philly and Mare. And they also didn't want to face Gamine. Frank was better than anybody that was in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, so the 6 was better. It feels like not only is she's still very good, but she hasn't been as good this year. And I just feel like either they've taken her speed away or she doesn't really have it anymore. Maybe you got to go back and dance with the girl that brought you there. When she was flaunting her speed more, I thought she was running better races.
Pretty good resume, but there's one with a better resume who's 1-2 on the board. Bell's the One. This summer, they were talking about tackling Gamine and going to the Breeders' Cup Philly and Mare Sprint. Ultimately decided to pass. Gamine wound up getting beat in that race anyway.
They may want to wish they had gone.
Well, hindsight 2020, isn't it? Corey Lanier, we'll see if they can get the win here on Plan B in the Dream Supreme coming up at 6 furlongs. Bell's the One, $1.3 million in earnings. But that's the amount of Joel Rosario was making up ground against Bell's the One when they met at Keeneland back in early October. We'll have the post-parade for the feature when we come back.
Chestnut wins by 6 on debut, with the promise of bigger things to come. Justify, he's on a dizzying ascent to greatness.
What do you do when the experts compare you to legends?
Justify has won the Kentucky Derby! He's unstoppable! He won the Preakness! Justify is the 13th Triple Crown winner!
You justify it.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com.
Honor AP, a mesmerizing horse from the very beginning, who captured the imagination of the racing world and proved his potential on the track. A Grade 1 winner, out of a multiple Grade 1 winner, with incomparable looks and an unbeatable pedigree. The speed, the bloodline, the physical. Honor AP. New for 2021, only at Lane's End.
We're back on America's Day at the Races here on FS2. Good to have you with us on this Saturday into the evening here on the East Coast. Beautiful look there at the Twin Spires, Churchill Downs. Program brought to you by Ron Happy. Never lost in his career while sprinting and did it all while racing medication free. We got some really talented sprinters coming up in this spot, including a 3-5 favorite who we'll see momentarily. Bell's the one. She's 3-5 on the board, 10 for 21 lifetime. We saw her this summer at Saratoga doing her typical run from the back of the pack to get up to win. That was the Grade 2 honorable miss. There's Frank's Roquette. Kathy Howard, part of that team with Frank Fletcher, 9-2 on the board.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like she can clear even with an aggressive ride. The 2 and 3, who are two horses that feel a bit overmatched, but LZ and Vintage Ready have a lot of speed. It is a good outside draw, but I just don't know if right now she can beat Bell's the one. Disagree, Jonathan?
You know, I mean, I guess you could make the case she had a little bit of an excuse in the TCOA Oaks when she, you know, she attended the pace. The pace was honest enough. Bell's the one just beat her by a length. So, I mean, I guess there's an argument that maybe she needed that race, and she got an outside draw here. She kind of got stuck down on the inside last time. There's an opportunity for her to be able to improve off this effort.
Well, here is that Thoroughbred Club of America at Keeneland. Bell's the one would wind up winning by a neck, but Club Car encountered a little bit of traffic, was wide, as is Bell's the one. She usually gets a wide trip. Making up ground on her late, though.
And in fairness, you know, just one thing of Frank's Roquette, drawing the outside as opposed to drawing inside last time is a benefit to her. It kind of forced her hand a bit still. I don't think that Club Car is going to beat her, but I think she's the main threat.
What do you think of this performance, though? I mean,
no, I thought she ran fine.
You?
I thought she ran fine. I think that you have to me, I don't know where you are, Jonathan. I think you have to take the good with the bad. I think she overall had a decent trip. But there is an argument also. She was close to the pace, and Bell's the one took advantage of a pace that was contested. So I don't know how much better Bell's the one ran, if at all. Maybe.
8 career stakes victories. We told you the bank account, $1.3 million for this 5-year-old mare now for Neil Pessin. You got to really give Neil Pessin just applause for a job well done, the way he's managed her career.
Well, in a game where you hear a lot of the same names, it's nice to hear some other names in big races,
Absolutely.
right?
And Neil Pessin, only 11% trainer in his career, but he's winning it over 50% with this horse.
You got to have the horses.
But she's going, as usual, she's going to come from far back. She may be forced wide again, which is typical of her, and she makes it. She doesn't win by a lot when she wins.
I think she likes that trip, though.
Yeah, she wants to be out in the clear, as most closers do. And also, they're going to get away from them with the 2 and 3 and even the 7. So she's not going to likely to have a wide trip in here. She may swing wide in the stretch, but she doesn't rate to lose a lot of ground.
3-5, though? What do you think? Deserving?
I mean, it's
more reputation a little bit?
I have a hard time taking 3-5 on any horse that is going to come from out of it. It's just because they don't make their own trip. You got to hope they don't. Are they going to run in front of her? Is someone going to get loose? She definitely deserves, but I struggle with taking short prices.
Here's again the one that Joel Rosario will ride, who just missed by a neck. 2 Bells the one last time out. In the money, an 18-22 lifetime starts, trained by Ben Colebrook. And Rosario's trying to win his 3rd in a row today.
I mean, she's the biggest threat. I don't think there's any way to put it. The reason this filly is 3-5 is that while it's a 6-horse field, they're betting it like the 1, 2, and 3 aren't in there. So now you've got a 3-horse field. And Frank's Roquette, with all due respect, her form this year hasn't been good enough to win. I'm not saying she's impossible, but she's a clear third choice in there. So basically you're left with 2 horses, and Belle's the one who has the resume. But I think solely based on their last race, the 5 and 6 could be much closer in odds. The problem is that that's the best race that Club Car's ever run. It's actually one of the slower races that Belle's the One's run.
Corey Lanerie, he's timed him right a lot with this 5-year-old mare. He's going to try and time it right again today. And there you look at LZ, connections of that speedster, one of a couple of very quick fillies in this race, going to be doing her running on the front end. And there's Frank's Roquette, 9-2.
Yeah, with the 2 LZ that you just mentioned, Wolfie, this is a horse that feels like more of a turf sprinter. And if you look through the past performance, you will see a couple of dirt races that she ran well. One was an off-the-turf race where she made the lead, which is like basically my favorite type of horse to single, is a horse that's going to make the lead in an off-the-turf race. So I don't want to give her a lot of extra credit for that. And then the race prior to that, she got loose again with a soft pace and an off-the-turf. So I don't think you should just assume that because she's got 2 big races on the dirt that she's going to handle the dirt facing the type of monsters that are lined up outside of her.
I agree, and there's such a difference between an off-the-turf 4-horse field where everybody in the race was essentially entered to run on grass and a stake race against arguably one of the better sprinting fillies in the country, and Belle's the One.
Yeah, and she's going to, at some point, LZ, and this is for people that are, trying to find an alternative. If you look down at the 2 and you think, oh, this horse could get loose, I just think you should keep in mind that the 7 Frank's Roquette, who was 5-1 in the Breeders' Cup sprint against the boys, is going to look her in the eyes at some point in this race.
The other main speed in this race, too, is a filly who was just beat for 30 condition claiming at this racetrack 3 starts ago.
Right. Her form is not as formidable as the horse who won the Artie Schiller, and that was one of the biggest upsets I've ever seen.
So here's Joel Rosario, Club Car, trying to turn the tables on this one right here. 5-year-old mare, Belle's the One. Been just the best that Neil Pessin's ever had. 10 for 21 lifetime. She was 3rd in last year's Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint with not a good trip at all in that race. Does her... I was going to ask, does her B race win this? She probably needs her best to beat Club Car, doesn't she?
If Club Car is moving forward, and her last race is probably the best race she's ever run, so if she's moving forward, then she can beat her. But the thing is, I don't think Belle's the One ran her best race last time. She runs her better races. She'll absolutely beat Club Car.
And here comes our post spread. We're going to start with a big long shot. In fact, the biggest price on the board, Blinkers, one who was just claimed at Prairie Meadows last start.
Right. You have a horse that's running buyer figures in the 70s off a $30,000 claim. This would be a massive upset.
Lights on in Louisville, and there she is, 4-time winner from 25 starts. Very tough spot that she's found here this afternoon. Next door, one of the speeds who we talked about, LZ.
She can make the lead, but I wouldn't be shocked if Frank's Roquette wasn't in front of her early.
It's fair.
Vintage ready, 23-1, more speed. She's won 2 in a row against a lot softer.
Yeah, she's been running against softer horses, as you said. She won a conditional 30,000 layer, the 59 buyer. Biggest fig ever last time, but that was in the sloppy track 5-horse field, loose in the lead at Belterra.
Joel Rosario and Club Car just missed against Belle's the One.
Yeah, I mean, she is obviously the main threat, and her last race was the best race she's ever run.
Here's the millionaire mare. Belle's the One for Neil Pessin.
She loves it at Churchill. She's run here 7 times, 3 wins, 3 seconds. She loves the distance. She's definitely the horse to beat. She's going to need a little bit of pace to close into. I think she'll get it.
And Frank's Roquette for Bill Mott, Frank Fletcher Racing Operations, and Florent Giroux.
Be a nice way to close out her year. She has not had a bad year, but she has been a little bit disappointing considering what she's done in the past. Can she turn it around today?
Time for our market mover, and it is to the outside, Frank's Roquette. Oh, excuse me, it's Club Car, the 2. For Ben Colebrook, Joel Rosario, second choice on the board at 5-2 right now. If you want to bet the market mover or anyone else in this field, you can do so by getting signed up and started with TwinSpires. Go to twinspires.com or download the app. Let's go to Frank Lyons.
All right, Wolfie, so I'm going to go with a surprise here. I think that Frank's Roquette looks absolutely amazing today. and she's a filly who comes into form coming into the fall. She won the Prioress and the Gallant Bloom last fall, and then she went in the Breeders' Cup, and as the boys said, she went off at 5.5 to 1 and in the Breeders' Cup sprint, and she finished 11th, beaten 8.5 lengths. Now, she'd been off form a little bit this year. She finished 2 lengths behind Bells to 1 last time out of Keeneland in the Thoroughbred Club of America Group 2. She was 5 to 2 on that occasion, so she's always been fancied to win these type of races, and she has 2 wins from 3 starts at Churchill with a third place finish, and that was a third place finish at like 3 to 5 behind Sconson that day. So I think that she's going to get a very good trip here, because she's going to be lined up about a length or half a length off of the speed, and she's got on the outside. So I say bet Frank's Rocket to win and back her up with an exacta with Bells the 1 over Frank's Rocket. Bells the 1 having won 10 of 21, 3 wins from 7 starts here at Churchill, 3 seconds and a winner last time out. In fact, 3 wins in her last 4 starts, and absolutely the horse to beat from the Neil Pesson barn. But I'm going to go with the upset. The 7, Frank's Roquette, Florent Giroux over the 6, Bells the 1 from Corey Lannery. And good luck to all involved in this race. Wolfie?
Frank, thank you. I mean, this is just one of these races. It's going to be so much fun to watch, because Bells the 1 just brings it every single time she steps onto the racetrack. She's so consistent, and she's one of the absolute best in the division, and she's going to be trying to run this entire field down late, and usually against this kind of group, she gets it done.
As a horse player, I prefer and love horses that run like Knicks Go runs, out on the front end, lay it down, here we go. But you got to admit there's something exciting about horses that come from out of it. You know, a horse like Zenyatta, who captivated people. It's the way that she ran, coming from far out of it, looking like she's in trouble the entire race. It feels very similar that this is the type of style that Bells the 1 has. She's going to come from out of it. At some point during the race, if you bet Bells the 1, you're going to get a little bit nervous. Is she going to get there? And that makes it a lot of fun to watch.
That's a good comparison. She's sort of the sprint addition, if she'd not lost to Zenyatta. But the way that she does it, 3 to 5 on the board. And we'll see if she can get another win coming up here.
She won a race named the Honorable Miss at Saratoga. It's named for a horse named Honorable Miss. She was that kind of horse. I mean, she actually beat the boys 2 years in a row in the fall high weight. In one of her fall high wins at Belmont Park, she came from 14th top of the stretch to win the race. I mean, Honorable Miss is one of the great all-time closing sprinters. She came from the clouds, and she had a great career. Tremendous racehorse.
And we saw, Bells the 1 came from out of it, but nowhere near that distance.
No, not an Honorable Miss type.
Did come from last, and it was impressive to get up to win by a neck this summer in that Grade 2 Honorable Miss this summer at Saratoga. And Neil Pesson was smiling from ear to ear after that win. That was a big one. 3 to 5 here. There's obviously, too, if you're Corey Lannery, every time you get on this mare, as good as she is, you know you're on the one to beat. Got to feel the pressure, too, to be able to time this right.
Well, I think, you want to ride short-priced horses, but obviously there is a kind of pressure with a short-priced horse that you don't have with a 20 to 1 shot or a 15 to 1 shot. But these are the horses that you want to ride every day.
And again, we talked about the speeds in here, JK. It looks like pace-wise, race shape's going to set up great for her.
It should, but if pace was that easy to determine, this game would be a lot easier. It doesn't always materialize like it looks on paper. To the point about Corey timing it correctly, a lot of these riders who get on horses and have to make those kind of late runs. For instance, Joel Rosario in the last race with Girl with a Dream. That was the first time Joel has ever been on that horse in the afternoon in a race. So he didn't necessarily know for sure what he had underneath him in terms of timing that run. Corey Lannery has been on Bells the 1 basically in every single one of her starts since 2019, or late 2019. He knows what he's on. He knows what she'll deliver.
And she's not anything close to a speed, but she's not a plotter.
No.
She doesn't drop way out. She drops 4 or 5 lengths out. So she's not a horse that just, you have to have a meltdown for her to win.
One of the best filly mare sprinters in the country over the last couple of years. Bells the 1, the 6. Odds on here for Neil Pesson with Corey Lannery. Going to try and make that late run once again to win for the 11th time in 22 starts. It's a Dream Supreme. Let's go to Travis Stone.
They're in the game. And they're off, and LZ caught a flyer quickly in front, a length and a half now, too. Frank's Rocket comes on to grab second, but Vintage Ready's on the move now, so LZ goes first. Vintage Ready comes on to be second. Frank's Rocket backs off to be third. Blinkers toward the inside. Fourth Club Car comes away fifth in a break of 3. Back to Bell's the one who settles in about 8 lengths off the lead. As they scoot up the backstretch run, the pace appears hot. It's LZ in front, half length. Vintage Ready right alongside in second, 21-2. A fierce opening fraction. They round the far turn. 3 lengths back to Frank's Rocket, who's on the chase from third. Club Car starts to pick it up now. Comes on fourth while wide. Picking it up quickly is that one. Blinkers is going the wrong way. Bell's the one's going to save ground for the run to the quarter pole. They come for the top of the stretch. It's LZ in front. Here comes Club Car with a 4 wide sweep. Frank's Rocket's between them. These 3 across the track off the turn, with Bell's the one bearing down from fourth, and now she's third. There's 1 furlong to go. Club Car's in front, short lead. Frank's Rocket battles on. Bell's the one is still third with a 16th to go, but she's lifting late. Club Car short lead. Bell's the one surges alongside and surges past. Bell's the one caught Club Car right at the wire. Frank's Rocket was third and LZ was fourth.
She is so much fun to watch. Corey Lanerie, pat on the shoulder right there for a job well done. 11th win now in 22 starts for the 4-5 favorite.
Like I said, at one point of this race, if you bet Bell's the one, you were going to be nervous.
1 point.
But I tell you what, at this point, I thought she still could get beat.
I'm going to say that a lot of times when you win on heavily favorites, she was 4-5, the rider's job is to just not blow it. I'm going to say this was a case where Corey really made the difference, because you watch this ride carefully. He saved all the ground on the turn. He came through on the inside, which can be a risky move with a deep closer, especially when you're a heavy favorite. You kind of want to stay outside in trouble, but when you consider the narrow margin of victory, he saved every single inch of ground, and then he angled out in the stretch. This was a terrific ride. Heavy favorite? Yes. Corey gave a great ride, though.
And not that would have mattered. She likes to drop back to last anyway, but the door shut immediately out of the gate for her.
Yeah.
Probably not an issue with her running style.
No, but it's not an advantage, that's for sure.
4-5, and Bell's the one does it again.
You know what's interesting about Bell's the one is that she really loves 6 furlongs as a late running sprinter. I think there's a handicapping lesson there. Don't make the assumption that, oh, if she went 7, she's going to like that even more. 6 is perfect for her because she'll typically always have pace to close into, and her run is just perfect for 6 furlongs.
Oh, 6 furlongs is better for closers. 7 furlongs is better for speed horses. There's no doubt about it. I couldn't agree more, Jonathan.
Neil Pessin, Lothenbach Stables, Corey Lanerie. Bell's the one notches another victory and another stakes win here in the feature in the Dream Supreme at Churchill Downs. We'll be back with the prices right after this. You're watching America's Day at the Races on FS2. We are back on America's Day at the Races. Churchill Downs. Nightfall setting in, lights are on. And Belle's the one doing her thing again. Closing from off the pace to pick up yet another stakes victory. 11th time in her 22 race career. She is getting her picture taken. Neil Pessin, Lothenbach Stables, and Corey Lanery.
Really cool horse. She loves Churchill. She loves 6 furlongs. And I want to agree with what Andy said. Right here, you'll see she saves all that ground with Corey Lanery. It doesn't matter if you're wide in the stretch. You're not losing ground wide in the stretch. You lose ground wide on the turns. And I thought his ride made the difference here.
Yeah, I think it really did. I really do. It was a spectacular ride, without question.
You look at this performance, and what do you think could have played out for her in the Breeders' Cup?
I think she probably would have needed to run better than this to win the Breeders' Cup, to be fair, but I still think she should have run, but
yeah,
they didn't.
I don't think she was going to beat Cece that day, but I do think that I think she probably hits the board. But I don't know, maybe this means more to them to win this race than hitting the board in the Breeders' Cup.
Wins as a 4-5 favorite. Go ahead.
Not to her value.
Right.
Club car 5-2. Franks Roquette winding up third. She's just been fun to watch. Glad we got to see her this summer at Saratoga, and happy too for Neil Pessin.
Absolutely.
All right, our feature in the books at Churchill. Back in 2003, Michael Blowen set out on a course to house former equine stars where they could live out their lives in dignity and where people could come to visit them as well. Today, former standouts like commentator, Firm Success, Game On Dude, just to name a few, are living out retirement together at Old Friends.
Summer. Hi, buddy. I'm described as the founder and the president. A better description would be I'm the butler. So I give them the carrots. And a Firm Success is in this paddock here somewhere. I make sure that they feel good every day. He loves this, don't you? Don't you love this? Don't you love this? I'm reminded on a constant basis that nobody's coming to this farm to visit me. They're all coming to visit these great athletes. That's little Mike to the right and Game On Dude to our left. That's our $10 million paddock. Little Mike earned $3.5 million and Game On Dude earned $6.5 million. Right, Bridgestone, huh? This is my horse. This is Summer Attraction. Claimed him on Mother's Day, 1999, at Finger Lakes for $3,500, and he's been with me ever since. We've been together a long time, haven't we, pal? Huh? I just fell in love with him.
Michael Blowen looks like a natural taking care of the horses, but this wasn't always the case. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, he was a Boston Globe film critic who rolled his eyes at the thought of a Hollywood happy ending.
I had an editor at the Globe named Robert Taylor who took me to the track for the first time. We're going to Suffolk Downs. Do you want to come? And we went and I fell in love with it. I loved the drinking, I liked the gambling, I liked reading the racing for him, I liked everything about it. But it was only later that I fell in love with the horses. Alphabet Soup, 1996 Breeders' Cup Classic winner. Here you go, George. This is his pal, Gorgeous George. Hey, Alp, you coming over? But Alphabet Soup is so amazing. He survived cancer. We got cancer treatment for him, and he survived those. And he just turned 30. He's the oldest living Breeders' Cup winner. I got your carrots. He loves to get his back rubbed. Alfie, come here. Please? Pretty please? He loves getting his back rubbed, don't you? Don't you, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do, huh? He's so cool. One of his sons is running now. His name No Soup for You. No soup for you. Hi, Alf. Silver Charm is the king. He's like Elvis at Graceland. People come from all over the world to see Silver Charm. He has the Kavorka, you know. He has the magic. He's the star. He's got that quality about him. Hi. Can I get my kiss? Thank you. And he loves getting his picture taken, and people take selfies with him, and he adores the attention, and he's the perfect star of Old Friends. Oh, And Silver Charm also is the only horse we have here who's got a trust fund. So Mr. Lewis, before he died, Mr. and Mrs. Lewis set up a trust fund for him. He sends Silver Charm $10,000 a year.
In 2002, Old Friends had only a leased paddock with 2 horses. Today, Blowen's Horse Haven is home to over 130 retired thoroughbreds on a 236-acre farm. Blowen has never felt more at home.
I'm having more fun now than I ever had covering the movies, or ever had when I was a kid, or ever had when you're supposed to have all the fun. Ivan. Because Ivan's big and fat. Believe me, when I was living in Boston, in my younger days, I never thought that I would end up in Kentucky and be homesick when I left Kentucky, because I love this place.
Old Friends, home to over 150 retired thoroughbreds, and won a Special Eclipse Award back in 2015 for their contributions to the sport.
It's just such a great story. Michael Blowen's one of the real good guys in racing, just in general, and a terrific project. And a great, if you have a couple dollars, not a bad way to spend a few dollars to support Old Friends.
And it's super fun to hang out with him there. He gets very excited. You can tell from the piece. He just wants to walk around and show you all these horses and all their tricks. And one of my favorite parts when I went was the Pizza Man and Work All Week. Both horses from Chicago were in the same paddock together, which is just kind of cool.
Good piece right there. And yeah, if you can make a visit, absolutely. But yeah, if you can give them any amount to help out, we strongly encourage that. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to talk about Sunday action at Aqueduct. When we come back, Winter Memories is the Sunday feature here on the turf at a mile and a 16th in the New York bred. We're trying to get back in the winner's circle for Jorge Abreu. Runaway Rumor. We'll be back.
Now, 500,000. Well done.
Audible let loose on the outside to take the lead. Audible by 3. Hoffberg can't get him. Audible, no doubt about it. Audible on the inside turns away the challenge of Free Drop Billy. No confrontation at all. It's Audible to win the Holy Bull with style.
Audible on the outside races to the lead. Audible wins by 2.5.
Resorts World Catskills, your closest casino resort experience, is so close. Stay the night and get your game on. Play live table games or thousands of slots. Resorts World Catskills.
War Dancer's Saratoga momentum continues as his progeny keep winning. First-time starter, She's Dancing wins by 7 lengths.
She's Dancing, making this look like a walk in the park.
Battle Scars 2 starts and 2 wins at Arlington.
Battle Scars first up on debut.
Pop the Bubbly at a mile and a 16th.
Pop the Bubbly to the outside of Concept. Pop the Bubbly gets the win.
And Show Me the Honey at 7 furlongs at Belmont.
And Show Me the Honey is the winner.
Become a part of the momentum. Visit wardancerstud.com to book your mare today.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
We're back on America's Day at the Races on FS2. Good to have you with us. Feature in the books on this Saturday at Churchill Downs. It Bell's the one, the odds-on favorite, taking the Dream Supreme. Let's go to Frank Lyons.
Well, standing here with winning trainer Neil Pessin, and Bell's the one in the Dream Supreme. And Neil, how much fun does this mare give you?
Every time she's just fun to watch run. She's got a ton of heart. She's probably the best horse I've ever had. And today was kind of special, and Bob was here to watch her run, which he doesn't get to come.
Mr. Lothenbach.
Yes, he doesn't get to come very often, and he had a bunch of people here, and it's just very special time today and watching her do her thing.
Now, how is she around the barn? What kind of personality has she? Because she's so honest and consistent, I imagine she's a little bit of a character.
She's the queen, and she'll let you know. She'll bite you, kick you, strike at you, but other than that, she's pretty nice.
Is that it?
Yeah, other than that, she's pretty nice.
Yeah. Now, the important question is she going to stay in training?
She will. She will. She's going to be turned out for about 4 to 6 weeks at Chesapeake Farm, and then she'll come back to New Orleans and get ready for the Madison at Keeneland.
Very good. Now, do you have any regrets not running in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint? No.
None. Because we still had to go FedEx. We still had to get in the crate. Yeah. And she's kind of a high-strung thing, and I don't know that she would do well traveling in a crate for 6 or 7 hours.
I got you. Well, Neil Pesson knows his horse, and Bell's the one, has won the Dream Supreme. Well done, Neil.
Thank you very much.
All right, Neil Pesson with Bell's the one and the Dream Supreme.
Happy, too, that if you're going to pass on, and she deserved to be in that race with her resume, if you're going to pass on that spot and go here instead, make it count. They made it count.
And to win that race and then to get interviewed by Frank Lyons. I mean, Neil's got to be walking on air.
And to his point about the FedEx situation, there's been a transportation issue. It's usually a lot easier to get a horse to Del Mar. It was a lot harder this year, and I think that's what he was meaning. They were going to have to ship through FedEx, and decided that wasn't what was going to be best for her. A great decision from a good horseman.
Great to hear, too. She's going to be staying training as well. And I get to see more of Bell's the one.
That'll be fun. Maybe try to target Keeneland. She won't have to get on a plane to go to Keeneland next year. She can stick around.
So skipping it next year would not be acceptable to you? If she was my horse, I would have shipped her. But you know what? It worked out for him. It's his horse, and he's done a lot of right things with her.
He has indeed. And, yeah, Keeneland next year, Breeders' Cup. Maybe we'll see her there. We'll see if she can continue this form. Hopefully. What will be a 6-year-old campaign for her. Sunday feature. The Winter Memories. Named after multiple Grade 1 winner of the Diana and the Garden City for Jimmy Toner in Phillips Racing Partnership.
Think of Winter Memories, think of Jimmy Toner as well. She was such a terrific racehorse and had a spectacular career. Just an excellent racehorse, won the Diana in her last career start. Unfortunately, she had to be retired early after that, but she brought back so many good memories. And it's amazing the number of these Phillips horses, many of them trained by Jimmy Toner, some by John Veach, that we have stake races named for in New York. It's absolutely incredible.
8 for 12 in her career. And the Diana was the swan song, going out a Grade 1 winner at Saratoga. So the Winter Memories, this year's edition, coming up on Sunday. It is our featured event on the Sunday card at Aqueduct. We're getting to the end of our turf racing season coming up here on the East Coast. Mile and a 16th on the inner turf, $150,000 purse, $50,000 purse for 3-year-old fillies. And a really good betting race in this year's edition. New York bred Runaway Rumor, Plum Ali, they know each other well.
These late season turf races always come up tough races because so many horses just don't have many more chances to run on the grass. And to run on these courses, and the turf course here at Aqueduct are exceptional. Plum Ali, a little buried inside, never got to make her run. I like her being more forward. Perhaps she'll be aggressive in here. But Runaway Rumor ran exceptionally well to finish second here. And a bit unlucky to a horse that just had a little bit better trip.
Yeah, Plum Ali is a horse that just really showed so much talent as a young horse, and she hasn't really come back to that yet. Runaway Rumor is another horse that's been banging heads with Open Company. And when she ever finds her way back to New York bred, she's going to be very hard to beat. But I think she is one. Those are the two that you want to kind of start with, maybe even a little Gams Mission.
Right. She could absolutely annihilate the entire division we've seen in those New York bred stake races next year as soon as it's formed. But she's also a horse they'll probably be trying to run in graded stakes. But New York bred races, she'll win those races, every one of them, with this kind of form next year.
White Frost, meanwhile, filly we've not seen for some time. She hasn't raced since late January. The last time we did see her in a Grade 3 at Gulfstream, had to wait, and then burst to the winner's circle with a big move here, beating Cone Lima, who came back to win the Wonder again in the Saratoga Oaks, and Domain Expertise, who won the Grade 3 Florida Oaks.
She ran at Domain Expertise in a huge race. Of course, she was injured after that race. Hasn't been seen since. Cone Lima, we've seen run extremely well in New York races. In my opinion, had this horse stayed sound, and Shannon Starr, the horse who won the Queen Elizabeth's obviously got very, very good, but I think there's a chance that she could have been every bit as good, if not better, than any U.S.-based turf horse, 3-year-old
bench. What do you expect of her?
I don't know. It's a tough thing to do. You know, they can go either way. You never know. Sometimes they come back off whatever issues that kept them off the racetrack. She wasn't working the party circuit. She obviously had issues.
Yeah, I think when you look at this race tonight or tomorrow morning when you're handicapping it, I think
2 days ago.
Yeah, or 2 days when if you're a crazy man like Andy 2 days ago. I think to keep in mind the speed figure was earned early as early as possible in her 3-year-old year, in her 2-year-old year. So the number might look a little bit light. It's probably better than it looks on paper.
I honestly believe that White Frost, if she is still sound, she can continue and progress from those kind of figures. She's going to be a real player next year as well. Doesn't mean she's going to win tomorrow, and maybe I'm hoping she can still run. I hope for their connections as well. This is a very, very good
Her
horse.
turn of foot's impressive. If you watch that race, it had to wait and wait for room and then turns it on.
Right, she had nothing go her own way in that race, and she still ran and ran a big number early in her 2-year-old year.
Meanwhile, Gam's Mission for Cherie DeVaux. Best moment for her coming in the Grade 3 Regret at Churchill. All the way back in May, she's been off since the Saratoga Oaks against Cone Lima, where she was 5th.
I'm a big fan. I think this horse is a major player in this race tomorrow. I like this effort. Maybe a little farther than she wants to go with some slow paces in the other races. I think Gam's Mission is going to run well in the Winter Memory.
So you think she's going to appreciate going a little bit shorter? Even though the Regret was a 1 1/8, you think?
Yeah, well, she went a little short. This was a no-pace race, and she still ran him down. It's like anybody else was making up significant ground in there. You're not a big fan?
No. I like the horse. Look, I'm a Runaway Rumor fan, and I'm also excited about White Frost with that kind of lower-looking numbers because she was, was 30 days into her 3-year-old year.
She could be favored, White Frost. She might not be, but she could be favored.
Are you picking her?
I picked her.
Oh, she's going to definitely be favored.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I broke everybody this weekend.
Race 8 on the card. It's the Winter Memories, our feature on Sunday. We hope you join us tomorrow. We're back on FS2, beginning at 2 Eastern time. One of the biggest upsets we've seen really of the year, Mandate in the Artie Schiller at 44-1. Only beat one horse in a claiming race this summer at Saratoga and wins what could have easily been a grade at stake. And how about Bell's the One doing her thing once again? Another stakes victory for Neil Pessin in the Dream Supreme. We'll see you tomorrow.